Good afternoon, video production class, 7th period. This is Mr. McCarthy coming at you. It's my second day in a row that I've been absent from this class. There's an illness in my family, so I'm out of town right now. I will be in class on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to checking your assignments as they come in later today. Okay? This is the first of 3 videos that I'm going to ask you to look at the beginning of class. This first video is going to organize previous assignments for you. The second video is titled Big Vinny, which is produced by someone else, and it relates to the third video, which is the outline of today's activity. Okay? But before we get to those, let's review the assignments that we have been doing in class. Last Friday, I introduced this assignment to you, which was titled The Crate Maker. And what I asked you to do is to take a folder off of the server. That folder contains 7 clips, and your assignment was to create one sequence that demonstrates the complete process for making crepes from beginning to end. So with one sequence, using all 7 clips, you are matching the action for 6 cuts in a row, or 6 transitions from one shot to the next. Okay? Your goal is to demonstrate continuity so that each of those shots flow into one another. Okay, make sure you add the appropriate soundtrack, and you can go ahead and delete or mute the original audio because it doesn't contribute to the whole. Okay, when you're finished with this, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and export, upload to your YouTube account, and then go ahead and share with me at this address, grigoryhighdmb@gmail.com. Okay. Some of you may have not finished the sartorialist assignment. That was an activity that we did last week, Wednesday, 9/28. And so I just want to review that quickly with you. I'm asking you to open up that video, place it on your Premiere Pro timeline, and to label certain areas of that video. Basically what you're doing is you're identifying sequences where the action matches, and I'm asking you to label those with either wide, medium, or tight shots depending on the pattern of the sequence. Remember, some sequences can be 2 shots, some can be 3 shots, and each of those can follow a variety of different patterns of wide, medium, and tight shots. Also, some sequences can be 4 or more shots. Okay? The second type of sequence that I asked you to identify are interview sequences. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is to label those sequences, interview sequence, and you can just lay it right across the front of the actual video. You can put it right on top. And for identifying interview sequences are defined essentially by the audio. So when we interview someone, the audio from that interview often plays on top of the actual face that's speaking, and then there's a cut to B-roll where we see what the person is talking about, and then oftentimes it cuts back to the person in the interview before the interview sequence ends. What's super important to know is that sometimes it doesn't cut back to the person. Sometimes an interview sequence doesn't begin with the person in the interview speaking. Sometimes it begins with the B-roll. We hear the voice talking or describing what we see, and then sometimes it cuts back to the face. What defines an interview sequence is the interview audio itself, the uninterrupted, consistent clip of audio that originated from the interview. Okay? So I'm asking you to identify 3 interview sequences within the sartorialist. And if you find in writing interview sequence right across the top, if it overlaps with some of the normal sequences with wide, medium, and tight, and it just kind of looks terrible because there's all these notes written across the video, don't worry about that. We're not trying to make a pretty video here. We're trying to simply notate or annotate the video itself. Okay? So when you finish with this, go ahead and export, upload to YouTube, and share with me at grigoryhighdmb@gmail.com. Okay? Once you've completed those 2 assignments, what I would like you to do is to go to the next video, which is to watch Big Vinny. Once you finish watching Big Vinny, I want you to go to the third video, which will be Mr. McCarthy coming at you again to explain the final assignment or activity for today's class. Okay, I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday, and I look forward to receiving your good work today. It's Mr. McCarthy for the first of 3 videos, signing off.